Hello, everybody, and welcome to Reviews That Don't Matter with Jessica Hitt. Yes, I'm Jessica Hitt, and on today's episode, I know it's Tuesday, I know I'm a day late, I know I haven't uploaded in like a week or more, but you know what? We're talking the Game of Thrones Season 7 finale, The Wolf and the Dragon, I think is what it was called. I don't know. So what I'm going to do today is just an episode review, and then on Friday, I'm actually going to go more into how I liked Season 7 as a whole or didn't like. My views on it, storytelling-wise, character-wise, plot-wise, all of that kind of stuff. So tune on Friday if you guys want to hear more about that. And then I'll also be doing a little bit more of some deep dives into certain characters and what I felt this season, how the whole series arc for them has gone so far. And then, of course, during the break, since we might not get Game of Thrones Season 8 until 2019, I am going to be reviewing all of the seasons all over again, doing some random stuff here and there, predicting what's going to happen in Season 8, because, you know, my last predictions were so accurate. Okay, so about this episode, I liked the episode perfectly fine. I don't think it was the strongest of the season whatsoever. I don't think it's the strongest season finale whatsoever. And, you know, it starts off with this great meeting of minds with basically all of the main people in Westeros, minus some of those Starks up in the north. All coming together and them trying to convince Cersei to join the fight against the dead. Which just seemed a little like, did they ever really think that she was going to just do it without any sort of, like, trickery? Like, I mean, honestly, like, they really thought she was just gonna give up the whole fight for a little time, fight these dead people, and then all of a sudden go back to that. I mean, that's just stupid. I mean, anyone who knows Cersei would know she would never do that. Anyway, I do love the scene. I thought it was great, you know. I thought Daenerys coming in on her dragons was a little on the nose. And I do think it was not smart for her to bring both dragons, mainly because it tipped off to Cersei that one dragon is most likely dead. If I were Dany, I would have just done one, the main one, Rhaegon, kept the other one, so that way it was kind of just like, yeah, this is my main dragon, but got two other ones, even though you only got one because the other one's dead. Thank you, the Night King. It just didn't really seem like a smart decision, which, I mean, let's be real. We've all known that Daenerys doesn't always make smart decisions. She's very impulsive in that thing. I mean, really, none of these people who are rulers make the best decisions all the time. In fact, 90% of their decisions are bad decisions. We've never seen a great ruler. Quite honestly, if I had to vote anybody in the entirety of Game of Thrones to be the ruler, I would just pick Olenna Tyrell or Margaery Tyrell because they seem like the smartest people, even though both of them are dead somehow. Okay, but back to what we were seeing. I did love this meeting of the minds. I thought it was fun. I felt like it was a little restrained and forced, though, at the same time. Like, I don't think that we should have gotten the Hound in the Mountain little small confrontation right there where the Hound goes up to him. I don't even know if the Mountain can speak at all. I don't think he does. I think the Hound just going up to say that was kind of just fan service to get people hyped for Clegane Bowl, which it will happen 100% in Season 8 at some point. But I felt like it was too fan servicey, and it just wasn't needed. All you needed was, like, some looks towards each other, I think would have sufficed. And also, Daenerys was really subdued during that whole time. She didn't really speak very much. I kind of wanted her to go off on Cersei, which I think Tyrion kind of told her, hey, don't speak very much. Let Jon and I do the speaking, even though Jon just messes everything up too. Tyrion's not doing so great either. He hasn't done good things since probably Season 3. Let's be real. When he was the first Hand of the King or whatever, it's been a mess. These characters need to get their stuff together. That's what I'm saying. And it also brings this really great moment of everyone really seeing that White Walker, which I will say this, that scream that they do is terrifying. Absolutely terrifying. I don't understand what was going on when the Hound, like, opened up the crate and there was nothing. Like, that was weird to me. I felt like, because it wasn't, like, bound or gagged. It was just chained up, and not even, like, fully chained. It was just chained around their waist or something like that. And I don't know. It almost felt like the writers were trying to be like, wait, did it die? Was all of this for nothing? for him to just tip it over and have him start running. I would have much preferred sort of like a horror movie moment of seeing the hand come out of the top and then like crawl his way out of it slowly and then all of a sudden lunge and maybe do a jump scare if you need to, run at Cersei like it did. I didn't like the fact that the hound had to kick it over to even do anything. That didn't seem White Walker-ish, because these things don't have a brain, really. They're just like, they're basically zombies, you know? They're ice zombies. I will say that reveal to Cersei and Jaime and all of them was awesome. I loved the reaction from all of them. I think Cersei did some great face acting. Lena Headey, she can face act like no other. But it almost felt like she did that whole thing where she agreed as long as Jon Snow would not side with either of the queens and let them do their fighting or whatever too quickly. Like, I would have been fine with that meeting of the minds lasting for 50 minutes. I would have been totally fine with that being a majority of the episode instead of doing this whole thing where she walks off. You get a small meeting with Tyrion, which just didn't feel right to me necessarily. I loved it because I think that they play very well off each other. Some of my favorite scenes in the entire series has been Tyrion and Cersei scenes, but I feel like it was just, why wouldn't Cersei have him killed? No matter what she just saw, like, why not? Because it's like the whole plan in the end, which we find out, is that she's not actually on their side and she's going to let them go all die. I mean, which, don't even get me started on that whole thing. Like, Jaime was right. Either they're going to go up to the north and they're going to lose the fight from the dead and the dead are coming to them, or they're going to beat the dead and they're going to come back to King's Landing and defeat Cersei. Like, at least, in my opinion, it should have been that Cersei, they go, but the entire time she is scheming behind their back, she's causing a lot of tension, and she tries something crazy, and then Jaime stabs her in the back, which I think is still going to happen eventually in this whole thing. Also, still don't think she's preggo. I don't know where they're going. Either Cersei is going to die while she's like super pregnant, which is going to be horrific. No matter how much of a evil person or maybe she deserved it, that's going to be terrible. Or she's faking it, and sooner or later people are going to find out because either she's going to have to like stuff it with pillows. Like how good are medieval fake pregnancy bellies? They can't be that good. And also with that whole thing, meeting with Tyrion, then coming back and agreeing that she's going to fight with them, having a whole thing dispersed, Tyrion having a win for a second, and then, of course, to kind of really take that away and have it be revealed to Jaime later that she's not planning on doing anything. It's just a slap in the face to Tyrion, who hasn't made a good choice this entire time. Or at least hasn't been able to control Daenerys in a way that he feels like he should be able to, and not control and like, you know, making the decisions, but control and just letting her make the right decisions. And then, of course, we have everything going on with whatever is in Winterfell. I loved Littlefinger's death scene. I've disliked him as a character in a way that I felt he just didn't feel like he should still be in the show. He should have died like a season and a half ago, in my opinion. And he was kind of useless this entire season. Like, he didn't really have any grand master strokes, just this sort of inkling of trying to turn Arya and Sansa against each other, which, first of all, these are the Starks. Like, bitch, you better realize they've been through a lot and they ain't turning on each other. Like, come on. If Sansa and Jon can become trusted confidants of each other, then Arya and Sansa will be fine. And it's so, like, the way they had it it's so unclear whether they were in it from the beginning or whether Sansa just changed her mind or whether there was a conversation that we never saw. And where was Bran in all of this? He was just there, and then all of a sudden he chimed in, was like, yeah, you held the knife to our father's throat. It's very frustrating. I feel like we missed a whole bunch of scenes that we should have seen. And also, even the stuff in Winterfell with Sam and Bran, where Sam all of a sudden remembers that thing that he just completely dismissed with Gilly. Like, no, Prince Rhaegar and Elia Martell got an annulment, and then he married Lyanna Stark, which means that Jon's not a bastard. He is Aegon Targaryen, the rightful heir to the throne, or he has a better freaking whatever it is. I don't care. It pissed me off. Not because he took credit for Gilly's stuff, it's because the show framed it in a way that he wasn't even listening to her. And to suggest that he somehow heard it, pronounced a different name, and didn't even finish the sentence to where he got married to Lyanna Stark, it's suggesting that he read it off camera or they had some more of a conversation about it while they're on their way to Winterfell. It's bad storytelling. And I don't say that a lot about Game of Thrones because I feel like they do things very purposeful, but I feel like they really missed the mark on that. It just was so unbelievable. And then people are kind of saying that, like, shouldn't Bran, he knows everything, blah, blah, blah. No. Bran is the three-eyed raven. He can see everything, but he doesn't see everything. He kind of has to be like, he's not just gonna like see some random moment from the past. Like, he has to kind of be guided in a way. Like Sam, he's like, well, can you see to verify that they were married? And then he can find it in his mind and be like, yeah, I can see that. But he's not going to go out and be like, well, how many times has Prince Rhaegar been married? Like, let's see his wedding. Oh, there was 2 choices. Let's choose the latter. Like, that whole argument where he should know everything is stupid to me. Also, he said repeatedly he still needs to learn more. What more do you ask for? And then, of course, it ends with not even the wall falling down, just a hole in the wall. And obviously, Tormund and Beric are not dead because they would have 100% shown their character deaths. If Beric is not a big enough character, then Tormund is. Tormund is a fan favorite. They would have given a death scene too. So all those people are wondering if they're alive. Of course they're alive. They're just on part of the wall that wasn't destroyed, because let's remember, the entire wall didn't come down. They just blew a hole through it and are walking through. Like, that felt a little anticlimactic. I wanted to see the whole wall tumble down, and most likely in the books that's actually what's going to happen. I thought it was fun the way they did it with the ice fire, whatever it's called. Frostfire is what Ken Napzok from Collider Videos is calling it. Frostfire, which is perfect, with the ice dragon and all of that. Like, I liked this scene. I wish the whole thing would have gone down. But at the same time, I don't want to see Tormund die. And then also we have, like, the main people of the Night's Watch, Ed or whatever his name is. I have no clue. He's still over there. Do they know what's happening? I don't know. And here's the thing about this episode. There was nothing shocking about it. I knew Littlefinger was going to die this episode. I knew Arya and Sansa were not turning on each other. I knew the wall was going to go down. I knew that Dany and Jon would bone, and that, you know, something with his ancestry would come out. I knew that Cersei was not going to go with it. It was so predictable. And what happened to the times with Game of Thrones? I mean, the Red Wedding. No one thought that was going to happen. No one thought Ned Stark was going to lose his head in the 9th episode of the first season as the main character. I want surprise. I want risk. And also, really, we only got, I'll count 2 major deaths this season. One is Littlefinger, who should have died a season and a half ago, and the other one I'm going to count as the dragon, because that was painful. Of course, we get little things like Thoros of Myr and Alaria Sand and the Sand Snakes. And then, of course, Olenna Tyrell. But let's remember, Olenna Tyrell was never billed as a main character, in my opinion. As much as she's awesome and one of my favorite characters, I don't consider her as the rank of, like, a Littlefinger or, you know, like a Jon from Season 5 dying. Like, it was so light on these character deaths. And I'm not somebody who's like, characters need to die for it to be surprising. But it's risky for these things. That's why I thought Cersei was going to die in this season, is because it would have been risky to do as a character, as probably the 3rd most main character or 4th most main character in this whole series. I don't know. Like, I liked the episode as a whole, but it also was a little unexciting for me, a lot predictable, like, not as high as I wanted to be on this episode. I still think that season 6 finale is 100 times better. Quite honestly, it's my least favorite episode of the season. Oh yeah, Johnny and Dan boned, which Kit Harington has the most beautiful butt that has ever butted. Like, Anyway, I hope you guys liked this review of Game of Thrones Season 7 finale. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Comment down below. What are your thoughts on this episode? What are your thoughts on the whole season? Also, don't forget to subscribe. I make videos Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Wednesday, you're finally getting that Defenders video. Friday, we're talking the whole of Season 7. And then we will deal with some other stuff along the way. So please do that. I will see you guys in a couple days. Goodbye.